Now, normally I don't do this, and I kind of hate to start the video off like this, but if you guys are liking what you're seeing, if you guys like me, if you like the content, or whatever combination of things you like, I invite you to hit that subscribe button and the like as well, because that does help me out a lot. Let's get this ball rolling. I'm having fun doing this. Now, let's start off with an unboxing before we get into today's topic. This one is from Metabo HPT, or Hikoki, if you are in other parts of the world. So, I have an idea of what this might be. I'd like to think that I know what it is because it kind of tracks with what I know already. I don't know if they were running this, assuming it's this anyway, this same promotion overseas as they were in the United States, or otherwise North America. Bosch plate, by the way. I really like this thing. And yeah, it's exactly what I thought it was. Lowe's and Menards, they were running a promotion, and whoever else got this bundle with the pneumatic nailers and the Metabo HPT triple hammer bolt. Inside of those boxes, there would be a slip offering you a free battery. You just go in and you redeem it, and you get this in the mail. So I got this in mid-January. Well, I put in the slip anyway, in mid-January, somewhere in the ballpark of mid to late January, and I just got this in mid-March. So kind of tracks. It's about 8 weeks since I put in that slip. Pro Bundle is back. This is the very thing that I was just talking about. Buy a select pneumatic nailer, get free triple hammer impact, multi-volt, 18 volt, 36 volt, 5 amp hour in 18 volt mode, or 2.5 amp hour in 36 volt mode, battery and charger included in specially marked packages. I never did a video or an unboxing of the bundle that I got. I actually ended up getting this one. If you guys are curious, that is my main platform of choice, is Metabo HPT. I have a lot of their tools. I haven't done any videos on them yet, but I'd like to very soon. So let's get into today's topic. Also, since they extended the sale, I'm about to eat some crow for all of you. I ended up buying the 100-foot 10 gauge. These things get really expensive, and there are times where 50 feet isn't enough. That was my justification for finally getting one of these. And in the back of my mind, I've been like, man, I really do want that cable. I do want it, and I do want it, and I finally have it. And that's not the only thing that I'm eating crow on. Check this out. Yep, ended up getting a Quinn socket set. 1/2-inch drive, metric. Yeah, I had to get one of these. You know, this is another thing that I was saying, man, I might regret missing out, and I ended up grabbing one of these as well, like I was saying, for concrete anchors and stuff like that. Plus, for emergency purposes, it's nice to have a socket set, so there you go. My name is Husker, and I've got dehydration. And an opinion. I've also got a question. What do you guys think is Harbor Freight's worst tool? We've obviously heard not so nice things about the drywall sander, and I've got an old Bauer from back when Harbor Freight was still enduring its hazard fraught era. Obviously, those days are somewhat behind them now, but there's still certain things that they still have to iron out, as well as public perception. But I've got something here for you guys. This is the 8-inch Doyle bolt cutters that are very, very like designed to the Knipex Cobalts and other products that are taking inspiration from what is a class-leading set of bolt cutters. So here's an old piece of molding that still has its nails on the other side of it. Staples, this will cut through them just fine. 18, 16 gauge nails, 23 gauge pins. Obviously, this will be laughing in the face of those types of fasteners, but obviously the construction isn't very sophisticated, but the grips are very nice. I like the comfort grip style that they have here. It's nice. I like it. But as far as cutting performance is concerned, let's try it with these. I did that just fine. Did that just fine. The teeth, or rather the knives, unfortunately there is some sunlight coming through. Just trying to keep it all relative here. I obviously don't want to be too critical about something that only costs $5, but again, just kind of letting you guys know what the up and up is with this tool. Overall, is it worth $5? I mean, I'm not mad at it for $5. Just got to keep your expectations somewhat realistic. Here's a sinker. Do I think this is Harbor Freight's worst tool? No, I think there is worse, but here, let's just demonstrate how hard it is to cut through this thick material. I have to use both hands for this. Ooh, there you go. And it doesn't really cut it, it just kind of gets 95% of the way through, then it just kind of folds over onto itself. It's okay to do it, sure, but do not expect it to be cutting through that kind of stuff on a regular basis or with any sort of ease.
Here's a 16 gauge that I'm getting ready to chop right off. Took a little bit of force, but not a lot.
If this was a more expensive tool, like $20, $25, $30, would I rate this favorably? I perhaps wouldn't. However, it being $5, $6, I would give this. I think I'd give this like a C plus B minus. I don't necessarily think that this is really an inherently bad tool. I think it has its merit for sure, and I think on merit it does okay. Even at $5, it still has. Hope you guys like the impromptu drop test. Survived that just fine. You could do worse than this. However, don't expect this to replace your Knipex Cobalt Cutter. I am yet to see anything that even comes remotely close to that tool. That is in a league of its own. So it's practically lapped everything else at this point. However, for all of the other budget options out there, you can take a look at this and see if it works. If it doesn't, well, you have a myriad of different options out there at an affordable price point. That isn't Knipex, and that isn't $60+. So, again, I think you could do worse than this. This isn't Harbor Freight's worst tool, I don't think. By the way, did you guys see that Harbor Freight is also throwing out $120 off of their service card, the US General branded one? Huge. If you've recovered enough after the parking lot sale, both the main event and the extension, and if you really want it or need it, desire it in any way, shape, or form, go right ahead and get it. It's going to be kind of cool to see more people start to build out their carts and stuff like that. And yeah, I know I've been talking about Harbor Freight a lot lately, but you know, I kind of enjoy talking about it. Over the last like decade and a half, they really cultivated an image of, you know, disposability and one-time use tools, things that you throw out after the first or second use. Over the last 5 and more recent years, that's not really been so much the case. Of course, they still have their cheaper tools that even those have gotten better. You know, ever since they came out with Hercules and Icon, they've really stepped up and made a better name for themselves. However, public perception is still at large, unfortunately, so it's going to still take quite a bit of time to see people start to gather a better image of Harbor Freight, just as I have, just as many people have, professionals and DIYers alike. But at some point very soon, we're going to get into oscillating multi-tools, because I know I mentioned that very recently. So just a little bit of a sneak preview for what we're going to talk about at some point soon. But it's been Husker.